Imagine standing in the hushed splendor of St. James's Palace, its centuries-old walls steeped in monarchy and ceremony, only to feel the very air tremble with a modern urgency, youth, opportunity and peace. Picture King Charles III himself, leaning on his gnarled walking stick, surveying a sea of eager faces, from campaigners who've rebooted forgotten neighborhoods, to beaming alumni of his own trust, to Idris Elba, inked in a bespoke suit, and Sir Keir Starmer, briefcase in hand. It was a gathering so loaded with promise it might have been scripted for a blockbuster, yet, the real drama lurked just beneath the surface, in the strained silences between two princes, William, the poised heir, and his younger brother Harry, who'd slipped quietly away, a phantom at his own family summit. Welcome, if you can find the calm, to our channel, your backstage pass to the rawest, richest stories of the Windsor clan. Today's dispatch isn't about tiaras or tabloids. It's about a king desperate to rally a nation's youth while wrestling with the most intimate of royal betrayals. It's about how the crown tries to champion unity in the streets even as its own bloodlines fracture in the corridors. When the palace gates swung open, the first wave of applause wasn't for any future queen or state banquet, but for a gathering devoted to giving young people real chances in life, an ethos King Charles has championed for decades. Often dubbed eccentric before his Green Crusade and youth initiatives made him quintessentially modern. He knows the monarchy must feel relevant, or risk fading into sepia-toned memory. So he invited everyone who knows how to turn hope into action, the beneficiaries of his trust, who once wandered London's margins and now mentor others, the grassroots activists who transformed a derelict warehouse into a bustling community hub, and those like Kashor Tulan, a Royal Marine whose teenage stabbing could have spelled tragedy, but instead forged him into a Team GB boxing champion. Kyle's story ripped through the palace silence. "That blade nearly took me," he said, voice unwavering, "but I found in boxing what I needed: discipline, purpose, a team. It saved me." The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, visibly moved, rose to his feet and clasped Kyle's shoulder, his eyes glistening. "You show us that adversity can be the spark for greatness." And somewhere in that applause, the king felt a flicker of vindication. His summit wasn't just symbolism. It was real lives, raw lives, echoing off the gilded paneling like a half-remembered psalm. Yet even as Charles basked in this wave of cross-party solidarity, he couldn't ignore the elephant slouching in the grand entry hall, William and Harry. Cameras caught Harry's shadow at the edge of the throng, and then William's equerry leaning in, always close, blocking the brothers from one another. They never spoke. They never moved toward reconciliation. If the summit's theme was peace, its most potent drama lay in the silence separating the siblings, two princes, once inseparable, now as distant as Buckingham to Windsor. A royal insider whispered to me afterward that this gathering followed hard on the heels of intense peace talks. Family diplomacy, courtiers called it, strung out over private lunches and hushed phone calls. Yet William, wounded by perceived attacks on his wife Kate, apparently chose distance over dialogue. Harry's Netflix revelations and Oprah interview had cut too close to home for his big brother, who sees Catherine as both partner and fortress. Any hope of a public olive branch evaporated beneath that royal roof. But King Charles, undeterred by private sorrow, cranked the public machinery into action. He asked not for applause, but for solutions. "How do we join up all the dots?" he asked the room, voice rich with that soft baritone we've heard at eco-conferences and investiture ceremonies. "Different departments, charities, agencies. How do we make sure every promise becomes joined-up delivery?" His words crystallized a universal frustration, that good intentions so often vanish in the cracks between bureaucracies. Moments later, Idris Elba shared a blunt truth. "We've come far, but there's still a mountain to climb," he said, voice echoing off chandeliers. "We talk about tolerance and inclusion, but our communities still fracture." Elba stared into the court, his expression a blend of hope and challenge. It was a humbling reminder: no matter how many royal patronages we tally, real change is a constant, uphill struggle. Outside, social media erupted. Clips of Charles' question looped on TikTok with captions like "Make it happen, Your Majesty." Memes threw together Kyle's steely gaze and Idris's rallying cry under #Royal Rally for Youth, while #Harry and William still not talking topped Twitter's charts. One viral post showed two toy soldiers on a chessboard, captioned "Brothers in Arms, but not speaking." The nation watched, riveted by this blend of policy, passion, and palace intrigue. Yet for all the chatter, the king's focus was unshakable. Within 48 hours, reports emerged of closed-door meetings with tech giants, mapping out an app to link youth charities nationwide. Whitehall sources hinted at a royal dash to redirect unspent apprenticeship funds toward inner-city music workshops. Charles isn't content with speeches. He wants scoreboard metrics: how many kids trained, how many career paths launched, how many communities healed. But while Charles pushes forward, the royal family's definition of forward remains fractured. William, dutiful as ever, played the perfect host, smiling through photo lines, discussing scholarships with student ambassadors, yet every so often his gaze flicked past his father to where Harry had stood. Maybe William wondered if the future he's poised to inherit will be a kingdom united, or a crown split by grief. And Harry, who once flew home for every milestone, slipped away before the final round table, heading back to Frogmore Cottage, or perhaps across the seas. His absence spoke volumes, a reminder that even the most stirring royal initiatives cannot paper over wounds that run too deep for any summit. In the end, this wasn't a summit that solved the monarchy's internal rift. It was a showcase of King Charles's vision, a vision where the crown leads on social issues like youth unemployment, knife crime, mental health access. It was proof that the monarchy still wields unmatched soft power, capable of shaming ministers into action and rolling out resources faster than any charity consortium. But it was also a stark portrait of a family at odds. The king stood at the nexus of public mission and private heartbreak, commanding unity among his people even as his own bloodline splintered behind palace walls. So what now? Over the coming months, watch for King's Trust bursaries clicking into local boxing gyms, for pop-up job fairs in ex-mining towns, for surf therapy in Cornwall funded by royal patronage. You'll see youth hubs branded with the king's crest, where former beneficiaries mentor the next generation, proof that Charles's strategy is more than regal rhetoric. Meanwhile, keep an eye on William and Harry. A whispered invitation to Windsor. A sudden joint appearance. Anything could signal a thaw. Or it might simply confirm that some family divides run deeper than any palace peace summit can bridge. What do you think? Can a monarchy obsessed with tradition genuinely modernize to solve social fractures? Does Charles's crusade give you hope? Or do you fear it's just window dressing while the real royal drama unfolds in private? And above all, will William ever find it in his heart to reconcile with the brother who once fought by his side? Drop your thoughts below. We read every comment, because here your voice carries weight. If this deep dive into palace policy and sibling strife gripped you, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring that bell. After all, when crowns weigh heavy and hearts weigh heavier, you deserve every story, inside and out. Thank you for watching. Until next time, remember, the future of a nation is shaped by its youth, and the fate of a family is shaped by who dares to forgive.